Just a reminder for some of you that have forgotten or don't know, Rotary is the largest service organization in the world. If you know anything about the Bible, you know that the Bible is built around one of the tenets of Christianity, which is service. He who serves the best profits the most. And it's not about financial profit, it's about life profit in the bigger picture. So I want to read from the Bible a particular verse that's appropriate for our speaker today. It comes out of the book of Jeremiah, chapter 29 and verse 11. It says, "For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end." Life after meth is a crucial part of the service to men and women here in our county and the broader area who need the kind of help that they offer. And our speaker today knows and understands deeply the issues around meth addiction and all of those failings that life tends to sometimes suck people into. He can speak because he's been there, done that, and come out of that in a very godly and prosperous way. So let's welcome Kevin Moree as our speaker today.
As I've spoke at Rotary, I've spoken at Kiwanis, I've speak at churches, I've spoken at law enforcement conventions, and it's always been, who is life after, why is life after? Today is and the last several months have been so much different. Real quickly, we do hold Thursday night meetings at Freedom Church here in Mineola. That is, as Governor Abbott put it, that is full contact recovery. We don't do a 12-step program because I'm going to tell you, in my opinion, 12-step program, one of their rules, I think it's 10 or 11, says relapse is part of the program. No, it's not. Relapse is a death sentence. We are based out of Alba. We are Wood County. We love here. This is our stronghold. I am a long-term resident of Wood County, and I'm celebrating this. This next coming year will be 26 years clean, completely. I don't even take that. And the basis for that, and I like that because Jeremiah 29:11 is on every business card, on the back of every T-shirt, because that's what that is. God has an expected end for us, and it's not destruction of our soul and our spirit and our body. To have my numbers correct, these things never work unless you just really need it to. In the state of Texas, there are 28.64 million people as of 2/20, and I really wish it gave me a little more current. In 2020, 28 million, roughly. I met with a handful of judges and DAs across the state of Texas that gave me their numbers. And what I'm going to tell you is going to, it's hard. Out of the 28 million, it's estimated that 14.2 million people will try methamphetamine for the first time in the state of Texas. That's bad. Because the methamphetamine and the trash that's made today is once you do it, you're hooked. That's it. That's moms, that's kids, that's sons, that's daughters. We are seeing new age groups now to this day, 10 and 11 years old, trying for the first time. Why? Because that's what they're learning in their homes. That's what they're learning in their schools. Now, to step forward, methamphetamine is not the only problem that we're addressing right now. Adderall is running rampant in our school system right here in Wood County. This I know for a fact. Adderall, which is nothing more than pharmaceutical methamphetamine. You have kids trading anything and everything for this stuff, phones, watches, and along with Adderall, we're seeing an influx of fentanyl, which is the new thing here in Wood County. Fentanyl. It can be coated over sweet tarts, it can be laced right over the top of gummy bears. They're putting it in pot, they're putting it into methamphetamine, and as of last week, Northeast Texas individual, high school student, come to do the research on this. He was from the Greenville area, and partook in what is, it's actually called parafluorofentanyl. The street name is just fentanyl, or fent. He's no longer with us. And it was gummies. Great kid, great student, great son. The part for me that has become difficult each and every day is being a pastor and being the president and founder of this group is the phone calls that I have to take. Why is my son or daughter gone? Why is this happening? Why aren't we educated? Why don't we know? I'm going to say this, in Wood County, a group of Wood County pastors met 2 or 3 weeks ago. And the sole topic was, what can we do about our government in Washington? Who cares? We can't fix that. But what we do need to address is what's going on in our own cities and inside our own county. And the thing that we need to do is take the blindfold off and quit acting like we don't have a problem. I met with another county mayor last year and addressed an issue there. And this mayor, she proceeded to ask me just how much Jesus and drug addiction do you think we need here? What? How much is there such thing as too much Jesus? Is there such thing as too much awareness, too much information? One of the things that Life After Meth has been pushing for the last year, and we are on the brink of this, but of course everything takes funding, and I hate that. I wish it was just something we could drop and make happen. Is a lot of us, I look across the room, we remember the DARE programs back in the 80s. Okay, we want to formulate a whole new program. And we want to base it and start it in Wood County, in the Mineola schools, in the equipment schools, and actually go in with proper education, with everything that we need to do, and not only educate these children, but educate these teachers as well. I won't say who it was, but I got a phone call from 2 different Mineola school teachers just in the last 2 weeks. Is what we're seeing what we're seeing? What do we need to look for? Is what we're seeing just general kids being kids? Or is it right in front of our face? To be able to go inside these schools and educate the educators and the administrators and the students as well, I think we can make a big difference. These kids need to see the harsh reality of exactly what's going on and what it's going to do. You get into methamphetamine, you get into anything like that, there's 2 ways out. And it's death in the penitentiary. But the one sole way to secure that you remove yourself from this is you've got to give it away and you've got to give it back. But when we have church members meet and not discuss God, not discuss our communities, we discuss, well, let's pray about Washington. I was so stinking mad I had to leave. Because if I'd had my chance to get up there and say what I wanted to say, I'd have run my life. Shame on us. If we don't stand up and start acting on the issues that we have right here, we're going to become another cesspool. I've got a 9-year-old, and good Lord, he's either blessed me or he has a really strange sense of humor. Me and my wife, I'm 55, she's 40, we just had a little boy. He's 3 months old. So I'm looking at this young man and my 9-year-old coming up in these schools, coming up in this community. We've got to do more. We have got to stud up and do more. It's easy to say, well, it's not here. This looks like a great community. And to the naked eye, it looks amazing. Mineola is beautiful. I love it. But take some of these side streets. I have a friend that owns a store right over here by the Berkshires, and they watch drug deals go down right in between the 2 parking lots every day. We've got to be more correspondent with our law enforcement. I meet with Dusty Cook every week. I love that guy to death. But even he, to a certain extent, his hands are tied. Should we enforce crime watch more? I don't even think it needs to be a crime watch. I think it needs to be a community watch. I think we need to be calling this out. I would love to see, and it was actually in a journal that I wrote years ago. If we start Mineola, if we make such an impact here, these local drug dealers and everybody that runs through and uses our streets to go through here will start spreading the word. Don't go through Mineola. And as over time comes, it'll be don't even go through Wood County. Because they're going to get you. And it's not going to be the police. It's going to be citizens just like us that say, we're done. You come through here, we're going to write you out. We're going to make it known. I mean, how cool would it be to enter the city limits, Mineola, and then somewhere on there say drug-free zone, 0 tolerance. I'm pushing for that. And I told my wife, she goes, what are you going to say at Rotary? And I said, it's going to be a little different. It's going to be a little different. I met at a law enforcement convention in Tarrant County last year and floored a whole room of officers. And they're like, you're not afraid? Or don't you think that these guys are going to come after you? And I said, no. What secures that? I said, God's bigger than anything they will think. I've been in the jails and I've been in the prisons, and the prisoners are saying, why can't we address this? Why couldn't somebody like you come to us when we were younger? Again, if we can get to the younger folks, the teens, the preteens, and even younger, I don't have to go to jails and visit these guys and these gals. I don't have to sit in CPA's court cases and have to tell the courts the kids don't need to go home. That's the hardest thing that I have to do, because I have to work with the parent. They interview the child, I work with the parent, and then I have to come back and say, don't send them back. I've had some kids actually come up to me and tell me, thank you. These are mom and dads. These are children. And the thing that methamphetamine affects the worst is our young people. Because they're separated, they're pulled from homes. Some of them are so young they don't even understand. All they know is mom and dad's going to jail and you're taking me where? And then they're bumped from home to home, to agency to agency, counselor to counselor to counselor to counselor. And deep inside that child's mind, the only thing that they're concerned about is, does mom and dad even love me? But when I go to the jails and the prisons and I talk to these people, they're heartbroken. What have I done? What's going on? What did I do? And I explained to the men, I asked them one time, just here recently, I said, how many of you men, there was 40 men in that jail, how many of you guys consider yourselves to be good fathers? Well, they all raised their hands. I said, put your hands down. Ain't none of y'all in here good dad. Well, I've said 40 men, and I'm in there by myself. I don't care, I told them the truth. If you were a good father, you would not be in here. But right now, your kids are calling somebody else dad. Because you didn't want to step up. The dope was more your love. The dope was more your life. The lifestyle was more your life. Then I go over to the female side, and I have to tell them, how many of you consider yourself to be great moms? Well, they all raise their hand. Put them down. Because an agency is raising your child. And I break them. They have to be broken. I met with a lady this week at the church Thursday night, and she has relapsed 4 times in 2 years. 2 jail sentences. And she's like, oh, hey, Brother Kemp, how you doing? I said, sit down. And I handled her to the ground. She turned around Sunday night and surrendered her life. Was it for her family? No, they weren't there. Was it for her kids? No, they weren't there. She's finally had enough. This woman's not seen her children in 4 years. Not because she's court mandated, not because anybody says she couldn't, because she just didn't go do it. As a community, we've got to change the way we look at this. They're not just addicts. The addicts that I have seen are some of the smartest people I have ever met. Talented, gifted, sharp as a tack. But they get into that circle and that cycle of addiction, the cycle of destructive addiction, and they begin to tell themselves, which is a lie of the devil, it's not going to matter. It doesn't have any value. Nobody cares if you get any better. And they just stay stuck. And they just keep rotating and rotating and rotating. Now, I will tell you there are several that do need a good lock. But our system says lock them up, And the other half of the system says, just make it all legal. That doesn't fix anything, guys. It doesn't fix nothing. Legalizing it, you think we've got a problem there. Just wait. Lock them all up. I've been locked up. You sit in there with a whole group of men discussing how they're going to make more meth when they get home. I'm sharing my recipe with you. You're sharing your recipe with him. He's sharing his. And that's all it is. There is no education inside TVC. None. None. I did 15 years. There is none. There is no drug and alcohol. The only class that's in there is alcohol, and it was actually taught by inmates, and they sit there and they eat a free world meal once a week, and they watch a free world movie. Nobody discusses anything. If we can make a difference here and change our cognitive thinking with these people at a younger age. I've met with the juvenile coordinator in Wood County, and we're also working on this, is if a young man or young lady in the juvie system gets herself caught up, part of their program and community hours will be that they attend Life After Meth every Thursday to get their hours and to complete their probation. Stipulation is either a parent or guardian, at least one out of his or her family, has to attend with them. That way we get him and we get the mom or the dad or the grandpa, whoever's raising them, so that we can educate them, and if it's not the education that they need, we can maybe help the mom or dad out of the trench that they're in, and maybe change the family as a whole. Because I don't want to go to any more CPS cases where I have to save the kids. Because the kids are going, I want to go home, I want to go home. And I have to look at them and I tell them, it's hard. Don't you stop there. Our system is filtering and diluting what's really out here. And it's a monster. It's a monster. I've been asked about toy drive today. I've been asked about toy drive all month because that's something we're really pushing forward to. And I'm kind of skipping around, but I'm trying to cover as much as I can with the time space that you guys have got. Last year's toy drive, we did 78 individual kids. We supplied the Yanis School, we supplied Mineola PD, and we supplied Wood County CPS and Hopkins County CPS. And you know who collects most of the toys? Ex-addicts. Moms and dads that have lost their children. Some children get their grandparents and they call us and say, hey, can you take them on a shopping spree? If we have the funds, we do. I've actually taken my whole paycheck from Funtown RV and loaded up 3 little kids and let them shop for other kids. You're asking your whole paycheck? Yeah, it left me with nothing for the week. I'll work week to week. But I tell you what I gained in watching those 3 little kids buy for other kids that they don't even know was more valuable than any paycheck I could ever receive. Because we're teaching these young people, you're going to give and you're going to go and you're going to select for somebody that doesn't do as good as you do. And you see the tears of joy on these little ones' faces because they know what they're doing. And one little girl said, you know what? I just realized on Christmas Day, because of what I did, some little kid's going to be very happy. And she just broke. And of course, there I am, doing the same thing. I always tell people, you can take a pebble and you can drop it into a pool of water, and we all know the ripple effect. As a community, are we going to drop a pebble and the ripple effect be negative? Or are we going to drop something that will be positive? A guy once said the same materials that build a bridge build walls. Is the city of Mineola going to build walls, or are we going to build bridges? I think we've got enough walls within ourselves, one, and within our communities. Everybody said, when you go home, what are you going to do? And I told everybody, and they're like, we're never going to do it. Within 6 months of my release, 9 years ago, we held our first toy drive for Mineola PD. And we haven't stopped. And it gets bigger, it gets bigger, it gets bigger. Heater drives, fan drives, blanket drives. We even take blankets that are tore up. We take any blanket we can get if it's tore up, because we know people that's got pets. So the pets, the damaged blankets that are really no good to go to somebody else, the pets are getting it. We don't waste nothing. Nothing. Really, we can't, because we're 501, and a lot of it comes out of either my pocket or the secretary's pocket. That's how we operate. But I'll tell you what, I've never seen God fail us. The second year we did a toy drive, it was so weird. I was about $800 off the mark where I needed to be to supply for Yanni's school. So I told my wife, I said, here I go. And she goes, you fish take that check. I said, here I go, I'm going. And I'll fill the gap. I'm sitting there Sunday morning, and my son, Kevin Jr., goes, Dad, a red truck just pulled up. And I said, well, see what they want. Well, he comes back in, he's got an envelope in his hand. He goes, they wouldn't tell me who they were. They just said they seen the sign on the front of the house, and they said, thank you. So I take the envelope, open it up, and it's $800 bills. There's no coincidence. That's God. That's God. So we were still able to function as a family ourselves, for the next couple of weeks. We've got to change the way we think. We've got to change the way we live with people. Anywhere I go, I always tell somebody, and I tell everybody, love on somebody you normally wouldn't love on. How many times have we walked? There's usually somebody sitting at the Bolero. There used to be a guy that lived behind Dollar General. There's somebody out here that just needs you to walk up and go, hey, I don't know you. I don't love you. You don't have to hug him. You don't have to touch him. Just, I love you. That goes so far. How many times have we all seen the single mom at Walmart, dirty-faced little kids, dirty-faced woman, and thought, because it took too much time out of our day? Because we were afraid somebody else would see us talk to that person? And all it would have took was to say, excuse me, I love you. Have an amazing day. You don't know what's going on inside that person's head. You don't know what that person, it may not even dawn on them at that time. I spoke under the bridge in Tyler one time, just a horde load of homeless people. And I always pick out the worst, because I was the worst, and God come to the worst, and he saved me, and he took me up out of the trench that I was in. So I always go looking for the worst. And I see this guy where he's just big around, he's got sores all over his face, his girlfriend just threw hot chocolate all over him. And I told my partner, I said, that's where I'm going. And he goes, that guy's hot, don't mess with him. So I walk over and say, hey, let me get a minute with you. And he rolled his fist up. I said, no. Let me just talk to you for a minute. What do you want? And he's standing there, hadn't bathed in a while. He's got sores on his face from the dog, covered in hot chocolate. And I said, I want to hug you. What? I just want to hug you. You don't know nothing about me. I said, I don't have to know nothing about you. About then, I stopped him and I wrapped him. And I held him. I just said, man, and I let him go. Look at this big old sissy. And walked off. And my partner told me, he goes, look, turn around. And he was probably from, I don't know, further from that back wall. And he stopped me, looked at me, he nodded, and gave me 2 thumbs up. Love can break through anything that the devil can throw into this world. Love. The disciples asked Christ Jesus, when you're gone, how will they know us? And he said, by your love for them. Not by what you wear, not by what you drive, not by where you live. He said, by your love. The Word of God says the greatest of these is what? It's love. If we begin to love on one another, and we begin to really love our community, then we're going to change the way we think. We're going to change the way we talk to people. We're going to change the way everything. Why can't this be a city with 2 signs on each end that says drug-free, we love you? It's great when you come in and it says, Mineola, Yellow Jacket. I want every drug dealer to ever even thinks about coming through Wood County. Oh, don't go through Mineola, don't do well. And it's not because of the canines, and it's not because of the officers. It's because Mineola has come together and said, we're done. Do not bring it through here. We are done. I don't know how everybody's opinions are, but to me, I think we've got a great DA because the numbers she is giving for methamphetamine is big. She's not giving small sentences. As a person, I don't know. As a prosecutor, she's giving out big, big sentences that says if you do it here, I'm going to put you away for a very, very long time. Where does she stand on other things? I don't remember. I don't remember. But I look at the rate of the prison sentences and the stats on the numbers and what she's given, and she's stacking them. It's not just a 5, it's not just a 3. You got this much dope, you're gonna do 25. I stood in a courtroom and the family, and I actually flipped sides before the hearing was over with. The family called and said, hey, can you come stand with us because we feel like this is going harsh. I said, really, I can't stand with nobody, but I'll come listen. And the prosecutors brought out 11 folders. And in those 11 folders, each one was a count of this man's life of where he had broken the law under the influence of methamphetamine. From this age and up to, I think he was 35. She asked for life. And the family turned and I said, what do you think about that? I said, he needs to go. If he ain't figured it out now, and he's causing these problems, I mean, I tell people all the time when they come to our group, because they'll always say, well, nobody gives us a chance. Well, why should they? Look at what you do in your community. You can't leave your lawnmower outside. You can't leave a weed eater outside. Don't leave your car unlocked, because the meth heads are going to steal everything you got. And that's true. Did I think life sentence was harsh for 11 counts throughout this man's life? No. Because he ain't figured it out yet, he ain't going to. Somewhat. But there are so many. I did methamphetamine from the time I was 15 until I was 32. And I could have kept doing it the whole time while I was on the inside. But I was brought up good, and I was taught manners. And I knew who Jesus was. And when I got in and realized exactly what had happened, I realized what God was doing is he was saying, all right, now that everybody's in, everything's out of the way, it's me and you, buddy. And we're going to get this right. Because when I was a young person, I used to go into youth camps, and I was the young person that would teach and they would preach. But life happened. Things took place. Yes?
Kevin, you've had a lot of experience over a number of years. What do you think is the number 1, number 2, number 3 reason why adults who are already in, say, 30s, 40s, 50s turn to something like methamphetamines or any drug for that matter? What have you seen? What have you recognized about that? Heartache? Go deeper into that, please.
Anybody and everybody that I have counseled one-on-one, young and old, every one of them has used for the same reason: broken heart, relationships. And the second thing was sadly a lot of them were molested. And in that molestation becomes the heartache, because the people that usually molested these individuals was a mom, a dad, an uncle, a grandparents, somebody that they wanted to love and trust. Anybody that you talk to that uses methamphetamine will tell you they do it to cover up something else. And that's the only thing that we teach different with Life After Meth. That Governor Abbott thought was amazing, because detox, everybody else wants to say, well, it's the chemical, it's this and that and that. No, you have to detox from the hurt, the rejection, the resentment, the anger, the low self-esteem. Once we get our clients past that, the dope is like, why was I even using it?
That was a means to dull their pain.
Exactly. And you're getting a lot of younger people. And of course, with the economy like it is and finances like it is, it's easy to make and it's quick money. I talked to a woman that's in the Hopkins County Jail that is 73 and wanted to manufacture. She got a 28-year sentence. That's a death sentence. She will not make it. Yes.
The thing that blew me away is, I believe it was last month in California, they got one shipment that came across from Tijuana or that area over there. 300 and something million doses of fentanyl. It covers the whole United States.
That's not even a tap.
Yeah, I know. I was just absolutely amazed.
That's not even a tap. We have it here. We have it here in Mineola, in Wood County.
So have you noticed an uptick in drug overdose and in drug distribution over the last 2 years specifically?
Yes.
I thought so.
Yes. I myself carry Narcan in my truck. Sadly, first responders can't administer it. And I have a big issue with that, but they can't because of lawsuit infringements. But if you call me,
Does that go for schools too, or
what's that?
Narcan in schools?
A lot of law enforcement officers are starting to carry it on them. Our guys are
Yeah.
not carrying right now,
Not
but
carrying
yeah,
on
they
the
do.
trucks.
Yeah,
A lot of
I
them
keep
do.
it, yeah.
Just even the danger of getting on their skins. what
Yeah,
I've been
even
told.
on your skin, yeah, it can become toxic. You can become overloaded.
What is this?
Fentanyl, if it gets on.
It gets on your skin,
The thing now is, and we're seeing it in the Dallas area, is they're taking napkins and coating it in fentanyl, sticking it in door handles. And what's any of us do? Door handle, move it, they're gone. So you helped out, you wiped out. Then it becomes the sex trafficking. The dope, sex trafficking, for children. A lot of us in here, our days are on the bottom end. We should be doing something for those still coming up, and there's a lot to do, yes.
Kevin, how addictive is meth as far as, I've heard some statistics like, these people fight that battle for years at a time.
I am 26 years clean, and I can still smell it from time to time.
Okay.
For no reason.
Yeah.
And it sickens me.
Mm.
It sickens me. The only way you keep sobriety is you gotta give it away. If I went in the trenches each and every day, doing what I do, speaking to people, talking, I'd be caught up. You don't forget it.
Yeah.
When I seen the picture of the meth pipe and the rocks, it made my hands slap. It never leaves you.
Mhm.
But you have a choice. You either stop it or wait till it takes you. But so many people just need to know, one, that they're loved. Two, people do care. And by caring, by loving them, no, don't give them no money. Just the words that I said, I love you. That breaks anything that the devil can throw out there. And I'm gonna tell you, I've watched it made, I've watched it cooked. That is strictly demonic. That is strictly demonic. The things that we seen and the things that we heard and the visions while we're on meth is because when you use methamphetamine, there's something totally different about it. That it opens a realm between here and there that is unlike anything else. The things that we seen, the things that we heard, were real. I can remember, I was in my 20s and I had the bedroom light off, just got out of the shower and sat on the bed. I'd been up 4 or 5 days and I hear a laughter. Ha 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 ha. What's going on? And I turn and look towards the wicker chair that's sitting in the corner, and there's a figure sitting in the chair laughing at me. At the time, I thought, well, I just need to go sleep. Now, knowing what I know now, no, that was not, no, that was very real. That was very real. Anybody else?
One of the things we're talking in the churches is, yeah, we'd like to have the 7-year-old come to the Sunday school class, everything else. But my first obligation is to get the parents. If I
Yes.
get the parents, the kids are gonna come.
Mm-hmm.
Not the parents to drop them off, the parents to bring them. Same thing with what you're talking
That's right.
Kevin?
Yes.
You could go on for days, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure. I know I can.
We deeply appreciate your time and energy,
Thank you.
and we appreciate the love, because it's very, very awesome
Thank you.
and incredible to see a man who loves people enough to do what you do.
Thank
So, a token of our deep appreciation.
Very cool.
And
Very cool.
appreciate you coming back
Yes,
again
thank
sometime
you.
in 2023. God
Yes,
bless you.
yes.
Thank you.
And I'll consider it all. I'll consider it all.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
You guys are amazing. Make a difference. Make a difference. Love on somebody. Love on somebody to date you normally wouldn't love them. Because somewhere somebody's hurting. And they just need to know, hey, I love you. It's probably something they haven't heard in a very long time. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Awesome.
I grew up in the 60s and 70s and